In today's Temu transformations, we're going to take these tiny little acrylic magnets to create these very cute tiny acrylic magnets. Let's make this. My inspiration for these are those little magnets that you see at the markets. I really like them. They're usually nice and cheap and cheerful, and they're a really great little memento from a holiday, really. And so when I saw these on the Temu website, I thought I'm going to grab them and see what I could do with them. The materials for this project are just a light grip mat, some Mod Podge, our acrylic bubbly magnets that I got from Temu, and we're also going to just use some copy paper or some printer paper. So for today's project, we're going to use Google Images as well as obviously Design Space. So I'm going to start with a circle. Now, this circle is going to be the background for our magnet, and it's going to be a shape that we're going to cut out. So the magnet is about 2 centimeters, but it's not exactly 2 centimeters wide. So I've done a circle that is 1.9 centimeters in width. And then I've duplicated it 3 times because I'm just going to make 3. I've just increased the size of the screen just because they're so little and I want to be able to see what I'm doing. So now what I plan to do is put a pattern on my magnet, and then I'm just going to put initials, and I'm going to put my initials, Juniper's initials, and April's initials. So just the A and a J. So I'm going to start with Juniper's, and I'm going to get a paw print pattern. Now, I haven't looked this up in Design Space, and quite possibly if you looked it up in Design Space, there could be some there, but my guess is it's going to be a paid image, but I'm loving this rainbow one. So I've just right-clicked on it, and I've wanted to look at it on a new tab just to see the size of it, make sure we don't have any watermarks on it, and then it looks pretty good, and the only watermark is down the bottom there, but I don't need the whole thing. So I'm just going to save that. Now I need to make sure that I'm going to save all of my images as PNG images. If you just hit, and I'm not sure if this is a Apple only or if this happens on Windows machines as well, but if you just hit save at the moment, it's going to a .webp or a something Z. So make sure you're saving it as a PNG file. Now, when I've gone back into Design Space, I'm going to click on Upload, and I'm going to upload this image. Now, I want to get rid of that thing down the bottom that says Designed by Vexels. So I'm going to do a crop. So the first thing I'm going to do is crop the name out of the bottom. So I'm just going to create a square. It doesn't matter if you do a square, if you do a rectangle. And then what I want to do is I'm going to click off that crop button, and then I'm going to hit select, because I've just had a little genius thought that we could do a black background. Now I love black cats and black dogs. So Juniper is a black dog. My cat previously, Darlie, she was a black cat. So I think I want a black background for this, and we can do that. So I've gotten rid of the background, so I've turned it to a transparent background, and now all I've got is those coloured paw prints. Now I'm going to name it Paw Prints Rainbow. And then when I'm in Design Space, and now that's uploaded, I just want to change the size of it. Because if I have it large, we're just going to have one paw print on there, and I don't want one. I want multiple, and I want it to be rainbow. So I'm just resizing it. I know they're little, but I have a feeling that these magnets, because they're a dome shape, they're actually going to magnify a little bit. So I've made it smaller. And yeah, you can see on the left-hand side that Cricut now does like a like suggested for you. I think it's obviously an AI-based thing, but yeah, it came up with paw prints everywhere. So I thought, since those paw prints came up, I might try a rainbow pattern and see what happens. And I do like this circle here, and it is a basic cut though. Now I'm going to resize it. I don't mind it. I'm not in love with it, but I don't mind it. And it's actually not a proper circle either. But I could do a little bit of a crop if I did it. But I might just check out what it's going to do if I turn it to a print and cut, because that's essentially what's going to happen. And see how it's got these white lines? And it doesn't line up properly. So no, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to speed this up because I'm going to find a rainbow pattern. And I want that pattern to have love hearts. So April and I, we're going to be the love hearts in this situation, obviously, and Juniper's going to be the paw prints. So I found this one. I love this, the watercolor kind of thing. It's a bit arty. So I've just saved it. Remember, make sure you save it as a .png file. And then I'm just going to follow that same process where I'm going to get rid of the background. Now that I've uploaded the love hearts, I'm going to resize it and then I'm going to duplicate it. Now, my next step is now I want to do a slice. So I'm going to select both the circle and the paw prints. And I'm just going to hit slice. Then I'm going to get rid of all of just the outline component. So the square part. Once I've done all of the slices. And then once I've got rid of that, I'm going to flatten each of these shapes. So I've just highlighted all components and then I've hit flatten. Then I'm going to put our initials. So I'm going to put an A, a J, and an A. So A for Anita, J for Juniper, A for April. Now, I've downloaded a font previously from 1001 Fonts, and if you want to see how to do that, you can go back to my dog water bottle tutorial that goes through how to download fonts from 1001 Fonts. But I'm going to use Honey Bear because it's nice and thick font, and I'm just going to do it in white colour. I think that with this black and quite colourful background that we've got on these magnets, because the magnets are little, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So I've gone with a white lettering. Then I'm going to select the lettering and the circle, and then I'm just going up to a line and I'm going to centre them. Now you'll notice when I get to the J, I think the J looks a bit off center weirdly when I do the centering, and sometimes that will happen. It's just the shape sometimes letters create. So you'll see here when I do center, the J goes right to the right hand side because obviously the center of our letter is right in the middle of the swoop on the J, but I think that it just looked a little bit too much to the right, so I've just shuffled it myself. And then I'm going to flatten everything. I'm going to go and save. So I'm just going to save it as acrylic magnets, but you could save it as anything you like. And then I'm going to go on to make. Now, the making process isn't very long. I am going to, first of all, it's a print and cut. So I'm going to print. It's only going to be 3 little magnets. So obviously if you were maybe making 20 of these, you could fill up a whole page. But because I've got I've only got 3 magnets that I'm drawing today, then it's not going to take up a lot of the page. And I'm just going to send it just to my laser printer onto paper. We don't need any special material for this. You don't have to do it on cardboard or anything like that because we're going to glue it onto the back of this magnet anyway. But make sure you do have your bleed on and make sure that you've got the best possible quality as well. So mine says normal. I've got draft or normal, but on my other printer, I've got best and something else. So it depends on your printer, what it will say. And then all we need to do is choose copy paper. Now, I ran into an issue when I did my first cut because the Cricut was cutting out each of the paw prints, or starting to cut out each of the paw prints. And what I realised was that I had actually created, even though I'd flattened everything, I'd flattened shapes that had holes in them. So I'll put it up here on the screen, and you can see that even though I've flattened it, my layers, none of them are actually whole. So I've had to go back and I've just added a circle to it. So I've just added a new black circle. So I got rid of all of the black components of the J, the A, and the A. And I've just added a 1.9 centimeter circle to it. So, you know, these little mistakes, learning curves and things like that, but you do need to make sure you've got a solid shape at the background, it turns out, before you do a print and cut. Even though it looks like you've got a solid shape, it obviously, there obviously wasn't one. So make sure you do a solid shape, and then I just followed that process again. Okay, so now all I have to do is flip this over. Now, when I was cutting, it had like a weird jaggedy thing going on. So I'm not sure what that was, because it looks like it's come up okay. It's got, it does have a weird edge here. I don't know what's happened. Hopefully when I stick it down, it's going to be okay. So essentially, we just need to scrape these guys off. They're actually quite cute. I really like them. And then once I scrape them off, I'm just going to use some Mod Podge. Now, I think you could probably use some PVA, anything that will at least dry clear, because our next job is to stick it onto this little guy. So they're really little, and I think for my big fingers, it's going to be, they're going to be cute. Look at that. So it kind of magnifies it a little bit. So it looks like it's going to be a small picture, but really, it's not too bad. I don't mind it. All right, so just grab a little bit of Mod Podge. Now you could use, yeah, as I said, you could use PVA, you could use a bit of probably craft glue as well, but I've just got Mod Podge on hand. Oh, sugar, that might be a little bit too much. That's all right. And then we're just going, oh no, it's not, it's a bit too much, but that's okay. We're just going to spread it nice and thin. And then it just should be a matter of lining it up. I'm just going to flip it over and do the same thing and just give it a little wipe. So it's kind of like, look, decoupage is, I think, making a little bit of a comeback, but when I was a kid in the 90s, decoupage was like the duck's guts of being able to do some crafting. So you would always put your glue on both sides, because the glue on the other side was your little bit of sealant. So let's have a look. Oh, can you see it? It doesn't come up very well, does it? Oh, what do people do in... There we go. Huh, that actually works. All right. So I'm just going to just do the other two. So I'll speed you up. So now probably ideally you'd let this dry a little bit, but I think it should be okay, because we're actually going, ooh, no. We're actually going to stick these magnets on. So the magnets that came with the the magnets that came with the acrylic are just these 3M stick-on ones. And the idea is that you should now just be able to make sure that you line that up. And look, Mod Podge dries pretty quick. So, and then just stick it down. Oh, these are cute. I like looking at these when you go to a market, because they're always just something that's little but is kind of affordable, and sometimes you can they do deals, so you could get a few for a couple of dollars. But I didn't realise how easy they'd be to make. So you could put any of your own little artworks in there. You could, you could even change these up, have some for Christmas, have some for Easter. They'd be really cool little presents for people as well. I really like it. If you're an artist, fantastic idea. Alright, so at the moment they're a little bit glassy. Not glassy, they're a little bit foggy, but that's just because that Mod Podge hasn't dried yet. So when that dries clear, they should really show up really nicely, I think. Oh, I really like them. AJA. And I really like the fact that we could do a little bit of theming, but without it being exactly the same. So yeah, I really like them. Oh, I think these are darling. I really do. I think these are so cute. They're a really great, quick, fast project for you to do. Great for beginners. The magnets can be of anything. Like, I've used something where we've found the images online, but you could use wrapping paper, because it doesn't matter what paper you're using. You've just got to glue it onto that magnet. So you can actually put any kind of paper or you could have made your own artwork to put onto this, and then you can just use your Cricut to cut those circles. So it is a really good, quick project, great for presents, great for changing up your decorations at different times of the year. You can get different sizes of these too if you get onto Temu. I probably would imagine they'd have them on Amazon as well. So you can actually really mix and match all of these and turn your home decor into something that's really personalised. So I hope you've enjoyed today's project, and I can't wait to see you next week for another Temu transformation. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget, you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below.